Good noon, all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to all of you. Good noon, Sanil. Hi, Anuja. Okay. So, so as you know, we've been practicing some concepts, right? In as part of this grammar practice, right? So we've practiced articles. Today we are going to talk about pronouns, right? Good noon. Good noon, Dharmi, Vicky. Right. So pronouns can be confusing for a student. One, because there are so many of them, right? And secondly, in our spoken conversations, right, we do not pay much attention to various pronouns. For instance, when to use who, when to use whom, when to use I, when to use me. We don't pay attention to these things. So that's why when we come across grammar questions, when we come across written English, we sometimes are in for a shock that okay, this pronoun that we've been speaking for so long is actually incorrect in this particular context, right? So it's very important that you know the various rules behind pronouns, okay, and you don't go by your spoken language when you attempt questions on pronouns, right? Good noon, all of you. Praj, Rishabh, Disha, Tanvi. Hello, Varun. Good afternoon, Mamta, Sunny. All right. So let's begin with today's session. And again, the effort today will be that through questions, I also teach you some things that you may not have realized, even let's say after attempting some questions on pronouns, even after let's say reading the chapter on pronouns, or things that you may have forgotten. That will be our aim today. Okay. So good afternoon, all of you, those who've joined us. Let's see our first question for the day. Now, just a second. Uh, yeah. Hmm. So this is a fill in the blank question. Five options again. You know why, right? And I want enthusiastic responses from all of you because see, there's no negative marking. So please respond. Also, it's not a difficult question, right? Fill in the blanks usually are your time saving questions. Grammar fill in the blanks all the more so because they tend to be short, they tend to be based on a concept, right? So here a very clear cut concept has been employed. Let me see what you say. Question 1. Right. Let's see. Sanil says C. Disha says D. Prat C. Dharmi C. Okay. A also I've got from Ram. Mamta C. Okay. So I have got 5 C's so far. 1 D, 1 A. Okay. 6 C's. So you say neither. My question to you is why not none? Why not D? Yes. Why not D? It is unfortunate that dash of the two national political parties won a majority in the recent elections. So it is something is unfortunate. So if let's say if let's say one of them did win, then it would not be unfortunate. So that means neither of them, absolutely correct. Neither of them has actually won. My question to you is why neither? Why not none? Because either neither either neither we use these when we talk about two alternatives. Either neither are used when we're talking about two things, two people. Okay. All right. The pen tap seems to be pretty casual today, right? uh, None on the other hand is used for more than two things. Okay, so either is used when there are two things, none for more than two things. Hope this is clear. Either and neither, so that's why neither is going to be the answer here. Okay, good. Okay, so can somebody tell me the difference between each and every? There's an option each in this question, and in your next question there is an option every also. So in the coming question, there's an option every. So my question to you is, what is the difference between each and every? So this has every in it, this option. What is the difference between each and every? Yes. None refers to absolutely no one. But here we mean not one of them. Okay. All right. Here also we mean no that neither of these. That means not even, yes, not even one of them. Correct. So when I say none also, that also implies that not even one was selected. So Sanil, that is not the difference. That is not the difference. The difference is that of two and more than two only. Every finds a noun before it or after it, before it or after it. Vishal. Okay, so you started answering good. I also want the answer to my question, the difference between each and every. Yes. Hmm. There is a very good difference actually. I'll tell you. So I'm going to give you some examples. Again, you tell me what I should write in each scenario. Each is singular. Every is for more than one. Okay. All right. That's somewhat correct. Let's see. So if I say, uh, let's say I'm talking about two things. Two things. Okay. She wore an anklet. She wore an anklet. What should I say? On each or every ankle. She wore an anklet on each or every ankle. What should I say? I think this will clarify the difference to some extent. Good, Vicky. Hmm. You are right. The answer for this question is either. The answer for this question is either. You are right about that. Here I should say each, isn't it? So instinctively you know this. Even if let's say you were not clear about the difference between each and every, but instinctively the moment you see this, you realize that okay, this should be each. So when there are just two things, again, when there are just two things, we use each. When there are more than two things, then we use every. Right? However, this does not mean that the usage of each is confined to two. The usage of each is confined to two. Each is versatile. It can be used in more than two, in case there are more than two things also. But if there are two things, then only each can be used, then every cannot be used. So each, both for two and more than two, every only for more than two. That is one difference, right? When there are more than two things, then a lot of times they are interchangeable. Okay, a lot of times they are interchangeable. So, for instance, if I'm talking about multiple pages of a novel, she read each page thoroughly. She read every page thoroughly. Both make sense. However, you see that there is a difference in the focus. She read each page thoroughly versus she read every page thoroughly. Grammatically, both are correct. Meaning wise, however, each page thoroughly refers to each individual page. The focus is on each individual page. Okay, so the focus is on each individual page. Whereas when I say every page, you are basically taking all of them and lumping them together in a way. Taking all of them and lumping them together. So the focus is on all collectively, on all of them lumped together. All right. I'm writing it like this itself, all lumped together. Okay. All right. So I hope this is clear. Each has an individual focus. Every has an all lumped together focus. Each can be used when there are two or more than two things, but every can be used only when there are more than two things, right? And yes, that's the major difference. Now let's look at your comments. Each indicates two or more things. Every indicates three or more things. Correct. That's another way to put it, Srishti. Correct. Okay. Uh, each is used for a known number, every is used for an unknown number. Okay. So Nilesh, give me an example of this. Give me an example. Yes. Each house has a balcony. Is that correct? Yes. If you're talking about the number of houses, let's say some houses in the colony, and you want to say that every house out there, every individual house out there has a balcony, that is correct. Yes. I purchased 4 fruits at rupees 35 each. If these were 4 different fruits, then you can say fruits, right? So for instance, you purchased, let's say 1 kg mangoes, 1 kg apples, 1 kg bananas, and 1 kg watermelons, right? So then in that case, 4 fruits at rupees 35 each. Correct. Absolutely correct. Each and every person is correct usage, Prats. This is just for emphasis. When we use each and every together, okay, this is just for emphasis. Okay, each and every person should be present at the party. Each and every person should complete his or her homework, right? So that is correct usage. This is just an emphatic usage. This is just for emphasis. Okay. All right. So this was easy. Question 2 was easy. Both the houses are available at the moment. You can choose either of them. Again, two. So you can choose either of them. कोई सा भी choose कर लो. Not every of them. No, it does not make sense. All, there are just 2 houses. Does not make sense. You can choose both. Then off was required here. That is not there. And if let's say both are available, then neither of them does not make sense. Okay. So logically, it does not make sense. That's why A is not the answer. Good. So I hope each and every is clear to you, right? And neither is clear, right? Now, one more thing. I want to clarify this because somebody mentioned no one also in the discussion of none. So, none versus no one. Can you tell me the difference? None versus no one? Yes. When I say none, it is a proportion. We know this, yes? None, it is a proportion. So basically, sanam pronouns, yes. If you recall, all of them are proportions. Some, any, none, all, more or most. All of these are pronouns, right? Now, and all of these are proportions. So this proportion could be of anything. It could be of a living thing. It could be of a non-living thing, right? It could be of something countable. It could be of something uncountable. Proportion to uncountable का भी हो सकता है ना? Isn't it? So, no one on the other hand, no one, can it be used for non-living things? No, it can be used only for living things, right? Because I am saying one, no one. And it can be used only for countable nouns. It can only be used to refer to countable entities, right? So I can say this for people. No one was present. No one was present. I cannot say for for various chairs. No one was black in color. I cannot say this. That let's say there are multiple chairs lying around me. I cannot say no one is black in color, right? I have to say none of these. Okay, none of these chairs or none of the chairs. I can only say this. None of the chairs are black in color. None of the chairs are black, right? So one difference, living, non-living. Okay, another difference, that while none can be used for countable as well as non-countable, no one can only be used for countable. And third difference, none can be singular or plural depending on the context, while no one is always singular. Always singular. Okay. So none can be singular or plural depending on the context. None of the chairs provides the context, and therefore this is plural. Okay, all right then. I hope this is clear. Whole and individual, no, that's not the difference, Vicky. I hope now it's clear. Now, a question, each of you or every one of you. See, first of all, I wanted to, actually, I'll clarify this question, no, because this is in the form of a question later on, Sanil. I have actually framed a question on this, so I want to clarify this there, right? Otherwise, you'll get to know the answer right away. Okay. And no one is used for singular. Correct, Srishti, correct. Okay, so this was either. Let's move to the third question. Yes, you have to tell me which of the parts, so there are these parts here in the options, which of these parts is erroneous. Yes, let's see what you say. Hmm. Let's see, let's see. All right. What else? I've got four, no, five A's, six A's, okay. Six A's, one B. All right, I'm getting quite a few A's. All right. Okay, just power outage. It will be back in just a couple of seconds. Don't worry about it. A, okay. B, E. Okay, okay. So nobody says C, nobody says D. All right, then let's discuss it. Each of the girls. Now, some of you think that A is incorrect. Why? Can you tell me why A is incorrect? Each of the girls. You think it should be each girl. That's why. See, each girl is fine. You can say each girl. That is also fine. And each of the girls. That means you are looking at the girls and saying each of these girls, each of them. So that is also correct. Each of the girls who. No error in A actually. Right? Then each of the girls who is standing on the stage is mine. Now the question is, is standing or are standing? Is standing or are standing? I cannot say each of the girl. Please realize this. See, you can say each girl. Yes, you can say each of the girls. Both are correct. What is the difference? When you say each girl, each is actually functioning as an adjective and describing girl. When you say each of the girls, each is functioning as a pronoun referring to the noun girls. That's it. But both the constructions are correct. Okay. So it should be are standing. Very good, Anuja. It should be are standing. B is erroneous here. Right? So did anyone say B earlier? I think I did get one B. Yes. Anuja said B. Saurabh also said B, I believe. Now, here, why are? Because who refers to girls. Who is a relative pronoun. Remember relative pronouns? Who is a relative pronoun that refers to girls. And when I want to use a verb for girls, it cannot be is, it has to be are. So each of the girls who are standing on the stage. So basically, uh, let's say there are multiple girls. There are multiple girls standing on the stage, right? So you are saying each of the girls who are standing on the stage is mine. Is mine. Now, why is here? Why is here? Because if you observe this information is describing these girls who are standing on the stage is describing the girls. But what is the subject? What is the subject of this sentence? Each of the girls. The main sentence here is each of the girls is or are mine. Okay, had I given you just this part, what would you say? Each of the girls is or are mine. You would definitely say is because each is always singular, right? Each is always singular. Each is the subject here. So you would say each of the girls is mine. So is mine is correct, but it should be are standing. Is this clear to you? If not, then ask me. It should be are standing. Okay, correct, Anuja, correct. Each girl is standing. Each girl is standing. That is correct. That is correct. Each of the girls is mine. Absolutely, Vicky. So now I hope this is clear to everybody. Yes? Okay. Coming to our next question. Okay, question 4. Question 4. Let's see what you say. A pair of these options, one of the pairs out of these options is erroneous. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. All right. What about others? Okay. So option C is what we are saying. Yes, CD. All right. All right. Fine. So those who've responded say C as the answer. Is this part correct? A. Everyone present at the venue. Is this correct? I understand that C says was and D says there, so there is a discrepancy there. Agreed. But my question is this correct? This was a question, Sanil, that you asked. Every one. So I'll clarify this. Every one of you, that is what you asked, versus each of you. Each of you, you asked this. Now, first, my question, what is the difference between everyone versus everyone as one single word? These are two words and this is one word. Yes. Okay. So now you've changed your answer to D. All right. When I say everyone, basically, I mean everybody. I mean all the people present at the party, right? At the venue. Okay. Somehow parties are always running in my mind. I don't know why. So everyone, referring to all. However, when I say everyone, okay, so every one of you, let's say, if I say that, that means my focus is on each and every individual member, So how do you decide when to use the single phrase everyone versus when to use every and one as two different words? So when you're referring to all the people within a group, that's one clue, right? And one thing that you can do is just try to replace the given word with everybody. Replace it with everybody. If you can replace it with everybody, no, that means you need to use this. If you can replace this with everybody. So can I say everybody present at the venue was questioned? Everybody present at the venue was questioned. I can say that. That means I needed the second one. I needed this one and not this. Not this. A is erroneous. Okay. Now, D is also erroneous, that you realize. Why? Because this everyone is always singular. Always singular. So, I cannot say their relations. I cannot say their. Their is plural. So, it should be his or her. Everyone present at the venue was questioned about his or her relations with the victim. Right? So, that's why AD or DA, that is the answer. Now, your question, Sanil. Every one of you versus each of you. Actually, they are more or less the same. Because the moment you say every one, no, your focus becomes individual. Your focus becomes individual. So, they are more or less the same. Right? So, a good question, this one. And I hope now this is clear to you. Every plus one versus everyone. Okay. Vicky, no, no. Everyone had a drink will also have just one single everyone. Everybody had a drink. Everybody had a drink. Right? Okay. So I want to thank every one of you. I want to thank every one of you. Tell me, what should I write here? Yes. I want to thank every one of you. Yes. The focus here seems to be individual or collective. I want to thank everyone, the second one, or every one of you who helped me. अब यहाँ पर space वाला, two words. Absolutely. Now, I hope through this example you've understood when to use everyone, right? Because you can't say, I want to thank everybody of you. Does not make sense. No, I want to thank everybody of you. No, I want to thank each one of you. So, when you feel that you should use each, that's when you should say every and space one. Right? Chalo. Let's go for the next question then. The fifth question. Again, yes, yes. Good, good, good. In question 5, again a pair is erroneous. Identify that pair. Identify that pair. Let you and I try and fix this problem before the others arrive. So you say A is erroneous and D is erroneous. Okay. Vicky says E. Mamta also says E. Okay. Sanil says E. So, one thing that I want you to keep in mind, and this is actually a hint, don't think that because we are doing pronoun questions, all the errors in a particular sentence will be pronoun errors only. Okay, it's not necessary that all the errors that I ask you are pronoun errors only in a particular question. Okay, so I've got a lot of E's so far. A, that means A is something that I think all of you agree is erroneous. Yes, A was the easy one actually. So it could be A or E, option A or option E. The answer is option A. Okay, let's see why. So let you and I, of course, this has to be me. We say let us do something, right? Let us. We never say let we do it. So us, the expansion of us will be you and me. The expansion of we is you and I, isn't it? Right? So after let, you use the objective form of the pronoun, the objective form of the pronoun. Let you and me. So A is erroneous. Now, before the others arrive, Acha, you think that the should not be present. Is that the reason that you've marked D? You think that before others arrive, that is how I should put it? Both are correct. Before others arrive or before the others arrive. Before others arrive means that these could be any people out there. Before the others arrive, that means you know which set of people you're talking about. Okay? I hope this is clear. And yes, the problem is in B. What is the problem? Who will tell me? Yes, try to fix. Very good. Pankaj, Krishna. Good, good, good. Good, Vishal. Try to fix. Try and fix is an informal usage, okay? When we talk to each other, we say, oh, let me see, let me try and do it. Right? Let me try and do it, however, would mean that you're trying for something and doing something. So you're separating the two things. You're trying something else, probably fixing something else. I hope this makes sense. Trying is a separate activity from fixing. That is what and gives the impression of. Whereas we are trying to fix something. So try to fix. So the two was missing here, right? And that is why try to fix. Let you and me try to fix this. And the answer is option A. A and B, not option D. ठीक है? I hope this makes sense. All right. So I hope you've learned some new things today. The difference between none and no one, the difference between neither and none, between each and every, between let's say every space one versus everyone as one word, right? Each girl, each of the girls, both are correct, right? This construction where who refers to girls, and that's why I should use the plural verb. Okay, and everyone is singular. Okay, when I say every space one, it's more or less the same as each only, individual focus, and it should be try to fix, right? Not try and fix. Right, so I hope you've been enjoying the session. If yes, please go and press the like button right away and do subscribe to our channel. Do comment if you want to do something else. Let's say if there are some other things that I should add, right? Let's move to the next question. Yes, question 6, fill in the blank, easy question. Welcome, Prads. Question 6. I noticed the little girl sitting in the corner of the room. Krishna says A. A is lone. E is by herself. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Absolutely correct. E is the answer. Okay. E is the answer. By herself. So this is a phrase of by. Phrase of the preposition by. By herself. By himself. Okay. So when let's say someone is sitting by herself or by himself, that means they're sitting alone. One meaning is alone. Another meaning is sometimes we say she did this all by herself or she did this by herself. That means no one helped her. No one helped her. Okay, or without anyone's help. Without anyone's help. Okay, she did this all by herself. So that is another meaning. Now, tell me something. There is a phrase to herself also, to herself, himself. Any idea what this means? To herself or himself? Lone, alone. Okay. So, lone is also a word. What does lone mean? Alone itself, right? But lone functions mainly as an adjective. If I say he is a lone player, that means he likes to play alone, right? So it's an adjective, and it's more literary in nature. You would find it in novels. You'll find it in poems. Lone soul, right? So a lone soul is somebody who likes to stay alone, right? That's the idea. Okay, a lone wolf. I think you may have heard this, a lone wolf. What does it mean, lone wolf? Is it does it refer to a wolf only, or is it an idiom? He is a lone wolf. He does not need anyone else. Okay, when we talk about somebody being a lone wolf, that means they are highly independent or they are alone, solitary. That is also another meaning. Okay, so basically alone, but it's used in a positive sense that this person is pretty independent. Okay. All right. So lone is a word, alone is a word, but there's nothing like by alone. Okay, by itself does not fit. We're talking about a girl, so need to use herself. On her own is fine. On her own. So when I say on her own, what does that mean? If somebody does something on his or her own, yes. Is it similar? Again, alone or without the help of others, it's a synonymous phrase. It's a synonymous phrase of all by herself or himself. So on her own. Okay. So this is clear to us. And now to herself or himself. She is true to herself. He was murmuring to himself. Right. So when you are doing something to yourself, in the sense that you are keeping to yourself, you know, others probably cannot hear you, that's when I'll say she was murmuring to himself, herself. Okay. Then he's true to himself or she's true to herself, that means to her own self. Here you are using it as a normal reflexive pronoun. When I say she is true to herself, this is not an idiomatic usage as such. This is a literal usage, pretty literal usage, because uh, it's quite possible that she could be true to others. She's true to her brother, let's say. But instead of that, I'm saying she's true to herself and using herself because she's the one who's being true and she is true to her own self only. Right? That's the idea here. Now, another usage of this is that she has the whole house to herself today. She has the house to herself today. Or she has the house all to herself today. Here also you can add all. Okay, she has the house to herself today. That means, again, no one else is sharing it today. Okay, when you have something to yourself, you have it completely for your own purpose. Right? That is what it means. So, by herself, to herself, all by herself, all to herself. Right? And otherwise, usually herself is either a reflexive pronoun or an emphatic pronoun. I hope this is clear to everybody. Okay. Uh, all right. So we can move then. Option E is the answer. Now, question 7. Neither of you can succeed in this joint project if you don't help dash. Let's see what you say. Neither of you can succeed in this joint project if you don't help dash. Okay, C. All right. What else? D. Okay. A lot of C's I'm getting over D's. Okay. So, C versus D, right? But you are saying C. Why C? Why? What is your rationale behind C as opposed to D? I think D is also fine. Actually, what happens is, no, that grammarians sometimes overdo things, right? So, each other and one another, they could be used interchangeably. But then in the 1700s, one grammarian said that no, there should be a distinction between the two. That each other should be used when you're talking about two people, okay, whereas one another should be used when you're talking about more than two people. These are called reciprocal pronouns because here you are referring to one person doing something for the other and the other person doing the same thing for this person. So if, let's say, we are respectful to each other, that means I am respectful to you and in turn you are also respectful to me, right? So earlier, each other, one another, they were used interchangeably. Shakespeare used them interchangeably, but then some grammarians said, no, no, there should be a distinction. And somehow we are following that, some of us are still following that pseudo distinction, including our entrance exams. So each other is used for two, one another is used for more than two. But in a lot of places, you will find them being used interchangeably. However, we have to take the exams, right? We have to ace the exams. So you are correct. C is the answer. Okay. Okay. Each other for two, one another for more than two. The villagers decided to help one another. So that means there were more than two villagers, right? Here it says, it clearly says neither. That means there are two people. So it should be each other. All right. Now, question 8. You were not at fault, Ria. So please stop blaming Dash. Let's see what you say. Okay, D is what you say. All right. Why not E? Why not E? I think it could be E as well. Okay, you said D. You stick to D. Very good. I was just trying to confuse you, and I'm happy that you didn't get confused. Right? It should be D. Why? Because Ria is just one person, right? So I should use yourself only. If I'm talking about one person, I should use yourself only. Okay. So please stop blaming yourself. Okay. Not yourselves because it is used when I'm talking about many people, right? So that's plural. D is the answer. Okay, good. Question 9, you have to identify the correct sentence from these sentences. Yes, identify the correct sentence. Not difficult again. So instead of specific, I should say singular. Let's see what you say. Question 9, 5 sentences. Anu says D. Okay. Sonal also says D. Rishabh D. Vicky D. Trats D. Okay, so as I said, this is not a difficult question. You are right. D is the answer. Okay, now could you lend me some money? Let's look at the errors in the others. I think that was more the point behind this question. The teacher scolded my friend and he. My friend and he. Who is this he, first of all? This he is not mentioned anywhere before this, right? So probably I have to assume that there was this other guy also who was being scolded along with my friend, right? So in that case also, even if I assume that, it should be him. It cannot be he, right? So first of all, two things here. A pronoun needs an antecedent. Antecedent means the noun to which a pronoun refers. The noun to which a pronoun refers. Okay, so who is this he? Who is this him? First of all, we don't know that. So that in itself makes it pretty ambiguous. And secondly, even if let's say I assume that there was some other guy there, then also I should use him. Okay, because I need the objective pronouns here. The object of the verb scolded. Right? Whenever you get confused in such sentences, although clearly you were not confused here, in case you do, when you have these compound subjects and objects containing this and, just separate it into two sentences. The teacher scolded my friend, the teacher scolded he. So clearly he is wrong, the teacher scolded him. Right? Similarly, when we had let you and I, so you can just separate it. Let you, this seems fine, but let I do this, that does not make sense, right? So just separate it. Okay, my brother and me, again separated. My brother went to watch the match. Can I say me went to watch the match? Me went to watch the match does not make sense. So very good, it should be I. It should be I. Correct, Anu and Anuja. Now see, what's wrong here? I think this is fine between you and I think I'll be punished between you and me. Why? But why do I need this me? Yes. Why me? Why not I? What is the logic? Okay. Yes, Vicky. Let's discuss that. So here, actually, if I go by the grammar rules, no. The rule is that between is a preposition, and after the preposition, what we have is called the object of the preposition. So when something is the object, it will take the objective pronoun. No, it can't take the subject pronoun. So between you and me. Also again, if you look at it, we say between us. This should stay between us. We never say this should stay between we. So we use the objective pronoun. So what is you and me? It's just an expansion of us only, no? We ka expansion hoga, you and I. Something that I just told you for let. Right? So, good, it should be me. Could you lend me some money? This is fine because when we make a request, then in the request we use some. We use the adjective some here, right? Uh, otherwise we use any. If it's not a request, we use any. Do you have any money? If let's say I am not really asking you for money, I am just inquiring, तुम्हारे पास कुछ पैसे हैं क्या? Then I'll say, do you have any money? Do you have any money on you? Right? So, any will be used if it's not a request. Because it was a request here, that's why some is correct. Okay. Then the message was meant for ourselves, clearly incorrect. It was meant for us. It was meant for us. Right? E is the answer. Good, KK, good. All right. So let's go to the next question and. While you attempt this, let me also discuss who versus whom with you. Right? Okay, just my lame attempt to separate the area. Right. So let me again write a few sentences and through that it will become clear to you. So meanwhile you attempt question 10, I'm writing a few sentences. Meanwhile, I hope you've answered question 10. Let's make it 2. Let's make life simpler. Otherwise, I'll have to explain this as well. Okay. Right. So I've written some sentences here. Now you say B is the answer. Most of the work is done. Okay. So none of the books on sale were good. Okay. So just a second. We had to identify here the which one? Neither of the options is good is correct. All the participants have left is correct. Everyone have received. Bache, okay, I am so sorry. I should have given you the instructions. Here you had to identify the incorrect one. The incorrect one. Okay. So 10th, you had to identify the incorrect one. And in that case, the answer should be, when you have to identify the incorrect one, the answer is E. Everyone has received his or her order. Everyone has. Everyone is always singular. We just discussed that. His or her order. His or her order. Right? So here 4 of them were correct. We had to identify the incorrect one. Okay, so this was written by mistake. Okay, these were the instructions for this question itself. Okay, everyone has received his or her order. Even has is correct, Saurabh. Even has is correct. Okay. Sorry, my bad. All right, all right. So I hope everybody agrees with E. None of the books. Acha, now most of you said B. B is correct. No, most of the work is done. Most of the work is done. Acha, so you also felt that this is correct. That's why probably you mark this. But this is also fine. Neither is singular, always singular. Either, neither, always singular. So is should come here. All the participants, plural. Have left, this is also fine. None of the books, none is determined by the context. So books, plural, were would, this is also correct. Right? So A, B, C, D are correct. E is not. Now, let's discuss who, whom. Okay. So the first sentence here, he is the person who or whom my mother wants me to marry. Now, some of you already answered. You said this should be whom. Okay. Now, how do I decide? Okay. How do I decide in a very easy manner whether I should use who or whom? See this. Look at the relative clause. What is the relative clause? Basically, uh, who, whom, whose, okay, which, that, these are relative pronouns. They introduce a clause in the sentence which describes something that these intend to, okay, who intends to. So who, what, who के आगे कुछ explanation है ना, तो वो जो explanation है, that is the relative clause. So who or whom my mother wants me to marry. So this is the entire clause here, right? This is the entire clause here. Why is it a clause? Because we have a subject here, we have a verb here, right? So it's a clause. Now, my mother, look at it as a question, okay, and try to answer it. My mother wants me to marry he, or my mother wants me to marry him. This does not matter. Forget about this. My mother wants me to marry him, not he. So this should be whom. So because the answer was him, I placed whom here. Now look at this one. This again is a relative clause. Why? Because we have a verb here. We have a verb here. Now you must be thinking subject तो है ही नहीं. Actually, subject इससे बनेगा. Who or whom से. So that itself should answer your question. Yes, in the second one, what should I write? What should I write in the second one? In the second one, I should say who wants to marry me. Why? Because here, even when you try to answer this, you will say he wants to marry me. Okay, he wants to marry me. Okay, so not him wants to marry me, so it should be who. And now who is the subject? Wants is the verb. This is just additional information for you that this is an entire clause. Now, the last one. Yes, this is a relatively trickier one. Seth talks about Karina to whoever or whomever is willing to listen. Yes, the last one. Whoever, whomever, they function the same way as who or whom. That's why I actually use this as an example. So tell me. You say whoever, is it? Or are you answering for the previous one? Whoever, okay, that's what you say. Now, here things get a little tricky. Okay. Saif talks about Karina to whoever is willing to listen or to whomever is willing to listen. Now, here, okay. So, here, again, look at the relative clause. Dash is willing to listen. Dash is willing to listen. So, he is willing to listen or him is willing to listen? What should I say? He is willing to listen or him is willing to listen? It should be he is willing to listen, isn't it? So you are absolutely correct. It is whoever. A lot of times students get confused and they say whomever, okay? They say whomever, okay? And okay. I'll answer that. They say whomever as the answer here because they look at the previous one. They look at the previous sentence. Saf talks about Karina to him. Okay, that's how they interpret it. That's how they interpret it. But I have to look at the relative clause. मुझे क्या देखना है? मुझे ये देखना है. ठीक है? मुझे ये वाला part नहीं देखना. I hope this is clear. The answer is whoever. Okay, it should be he is willing to listen. They are willing to listen. Absolutely. Now, option C में verb is singular. Okay. Nearer. Bache, in neither does not work like this, Anuja. Either and neither don't work like this. Okay, what you are saying is applicable to sanam pronouns. Some, any, none, all, more, most. ये उनको applicable है. Either, neither, always singular. Okay. All right. I hope this is clear. And to whomsoever it may concern. Okay. To all right. To whomsoever it may concern. Yes. So there we say. See, why we say that? To, that's different. To whomsoever it may concern. I hope what I'm writing is visible and is not being hidden. It may concern. Look at this now. Look at this clause. Why do I say to whomsoever it may concern? इस part को ढंग से देखो. Do I have a verb here? Do I have a verb here? I do. May concern is the verb here. It concerns me. It concerns me. So may concern is the verb here. I also have a subject here. So here the subject and verb. Here the subject and verb are already present. Now look at it. You will say it may concern him or it may concern he. It may concern him or it may concern he. You will definitely say it may concern him or it concerns him. Isn't it? So यहाँ पे जब आंसर हिम आएगा इसीलिए whom आ रहा है. बट वहां पे आपका आंसर क्या आ रहा है? वहां पर तो कोई सब्जेक्ट है ही नहीं ना ऑलरेडी. वहां पे आपको सब्जेक्ट चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाई whoever will come. You get it? Yes, yes, yes. I hope. So I think after this, it should become very clear to you when to use who, when to use whom, right? Because I've shown you some complex examples as well. And good, the good observation to whomsoever it may concern, that means you pay attention when you read to the words, to all the words that you're reading, right? So I hope you like the session. And if yes, if you learned some new things, please go and press the like button. Do share it with your friends and do subscribe to our channel. You know about these toppers of ours, and if you want to know more about them, then you know what you have to do. Okay, also this is our comprehensive program. There you get a lot of stuff. Okay, mock tests, practice questions, books, also live sessions, recorded sessions, GDPI, everything. Okay, so you can join, because I think if you want to join, please join right now. Okay, just 163 162 days left. You need 6 months to prepare for CAT, right? And yes, this is our Telegram channel. In case you want to stay connected, please join this. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely, Anu. You can actually take CAT, right? And a lot of people with work experience do take CAT. So as long as you are able to relate your work experience to your need for an MBA and how it will help you, you can definitely go for it. Give it a shot. Okay. Welcome, welcome. The next session will be on Tuesday at 12. Okay. I'll see you. Is SIE a pronoun? Sanil, not a formally recognized one yet, even if you read it somewhere, because see, a lot of gender neutral pronouns, a lot of alternative pronouns are being proposed by people, okay, who feel that the current pronouns are not really representative of all the genders on the spectrum. So a lot of them are being proposed, but currently जो recognized है वो यही वाले हैं, he, she, it, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is, right? Welcome, welcome, Vicky. Welcome all of you. See you. Bye.